Hey, this is Clem Burke, and you're watching Undercover at South by Southwest in Austin, and good to have you here, Clem.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Pretty good. Now, what brings you to Austin on this trip other than spruiking up what you've been up to?
Well, you know, I really find the South by Southwest experience very inspiring, actually. It's kind of a bit paradoxical in the state of the music business. And when you come here, it's like everyone is like really excited about music and about the music business and about the music. And it's a bit of a paradox, as I said, because, you know, the way the music business is going. But when I come here, I get a real energy and I get kind of inspired about being here. And it's, you see a lot of great bands, and it's really fun. For people that don't know about it, it's a really good experience. From my point of view, having done this for a while, when I come here, it kind of really like gives me a little boost about why I still do this. And coincidentally, we made a film in Austin in 1980 with Blondie. Probably the worst rock and roll movie ever made, called Roadie, starring Meatloaf.
Oh, Meatloaf, I remember Roadie, yeah.
I have a friend who's actually a tech, and he has a roadie tattoo, and he goes, dude, that movie inspired me to become a roadie. I'm like, you got to be kidding. But Roland Swenson, who was there at the genesis of South by Southwest. I think he was the main motivator behind it. He was managing a band called Standing Waves, who are in the film with us. And, we met in 1980, and I think Roland is one of the main people of South by Southwest. And he's
the boss.
He's the boss, right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing to see this thing so much later on and what it's become. And it's just good. But I've always had a love affair with Austin. Austin's a great place. My girlfriend in the 80s was from here, Kathy Valentine, and we used to come down and visit her mom a lot, and I'm not surprised at what Austin has become through the years, because it was always kind of a bit ahead of everything. They say the thing about Austin is it's a great place, the only problem is it's in Texas.
Well, you said that, the music industry's got all this gloom and doom about it, but, when you get 20,000 people flying from all over the world to gather for something, there is a bit of a pulse still there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have this theory about rock and roll kind of being like jazz. I mean, if you could imagine what jazz must have been like when Elvis and Little Richard and these people came out in the 50s, all of a sudden jazz was like the popular music, let's say. All of a sudden it was negated by rock and roll. But guess what? 50 years later, jazz is a very popular art form, and rock and roll is not really the most commercial form of music nowadays, but you have this fanaticism for rock and roll music, which 50 years plus, rock and roll is middle-aged, and to me it's more like an art form now, not to be too pretentious about it, but it's kind of like jazz. I mean, there's avid fans for rock and roll music. They love it, they'll do anything for it, and it's similar to jazz music, I would think, So it's a really true sort of, I don't want to call it exclusively American art form, but it is derived from the blues and all of that, and through jazz. And I kind of feel more like my 50s now, so I kind of make that analogy between like what jazz musicians must have felt like, continuing a career. No one thought rock and roll would exist this long, but now it has. Rock and roll is middle-aged, and it's continuing, and there's a real fan base for it and a real energy, and when you come to something like this, you really see it. It thrives, and it makes people like me want to continue doing it. It's like a great experience.